I legitimately thought that we would never have to talk about Joker 2 ever again, except for potentially some of the worst media to come out in 2024. But here we are, days after it finally ascended to its final resting place on streaming. Don't know which service has the balls to carry it. I think probably Max, right? It is Warner Brothers at the end of the day, but I don't even think that they want to lay claim to this stuff. Well, you could tell by the branding, the fact that the DC logo wasn't on it or anything like that. And I don't even think that, Lady Gaga or Joaquin Phoenix want to take responsibility for this abomination, but Todd Phillips, he's been interestingly quiet. I think I've seen a couple of things, or at least some quotes attributed to him, but nothing really worthwhile. I think he's kind of assessing the landscape and figuring out, oh God, I really kind of bombed any credibility that I have, and my way forward in Hollywood doesn't exist anymore. So he's out here, trying to stump for the everyman after you produce the product. I legitimately shat all over the everyman, and he says that movie theaters need to stop showing commercials before films. Hey, right, everybody, we can get behind that, because from what I'm hearing from people when they go to the theater to check out a new film, they're inundated with about 30 minutes of commercials before the film actually rolls. Like, bro, that's laborious to begin with. Like, back in my day when I used to go to the theaters, yeah, it was about 10 to 15 minutes, but they would actually be high quality stuff. But that was back in 2011 when Dark Knight Rises was out. But yeah, no, now I'm hearing it's about 30 minutes. It's in a bunch of crap that you aren't excited to see at all, and it's going to be of similar quality of the garbage that you're just gritting your teeth to get through in order to do a review on. So yeah, this would appeal to so many other people. They take the air right out of the room. And yeah, for somebody who created one of the most nihilistic and hateful films in a very long time, I guess he wanted that distinguished honor to be placed on his film and not on the credits to begin with. But the way that they characterize this, it's hilarious, right? Like, they aren't going to attribute his most recent output. They're going to go to his most successful output. Strange. Joker and the Hangover director. Right. For as many things that Joker 2 ended up doing to diminish his legacy, it's really entrenched, thanks to that film as well, that Todd Phillips, he can make one hell of an initial offering. He's a good IP guy, but when it comes to sequels or follow-ups, don't let him anywhere near that, Treat him like Roman Polanski moving into your neighborhood. Keep him 500 meters away from any thoughts or any scripts for a potential sequel to any of his previous projects. Recently participated in a Hollywood poll for Empire magazine about the future of moviegoing and expressed his desire for movie theaters to get rid of showing commercials before films. Phillips joined fellow filmmakers like George Miller, Sean Baker, and Daniel Scheinert in being confident that movie theaters will never go out of style. Really? I think... yeah, will they all close up? No, even with the contraction that they're going to be experiencing in the next couple of years. But they're definitely going to become more boutique. You're not going to see these lavish megaplexes anymore. I just don't think that that's going to be the case, mostly because the medium of film hasn't really produced anything groundbreaking or lasting in the past, decade and change. Yeah, for the theater experience to go out of style, I mean, people still go to plays, and that used to be the dominant form of entertainment, but that ended up getting phased out due to technological innovations. But Hollywood, well, this is kind of a self-inflicted gunshot wound that has ended up with a massive contraction in your industry. We are hardwired to gather and sharing of stories, Miller said about why movie theaters won't cease to exist in the future. We believe cinemas are, for the most part, doing everything that they can. Yeah, like charging their customers out the wazoo for an inferior experience to what everybody has in their own living room. Phillips suggested theaters could be doing a bit more. I actually agree with him, especially to combat the desire for from audiences just to stream films at home. He sent theaters the following message: stop showing commercials before the movies. We paid for our tickets. We're excited to be there. The commercials tend to take the air out of the room. And yeah, and especially within the next few years when you start to see commercials and ads being placed all over your streaming services, that desire to go to a bought and paid for ad-free experience, I guess that's going to artificially create interest in the theaters once again. I could see them definitely taking that approach. That's definitely within their wheelhouse. Scheinert, the Oscar-winning co-director of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Oh, okay, cool, because that name didn't ring a bell. Obviously, Todd Phillips, I've heard of him, and George Miller. A little franchise, notwithstanding its most recent output, kind of like Phillips. A little thing called Mad Max. Yeah, exactly. I said the theaters will prevail because they encourage community. Yes, community. And that's ultimately what audiences crave. No, not really, bro. Like, there's a big reason that I didn't go or wasn't encouraged to ever step foot back in the theater, because I hate Community. I want it to be quiet. I want it to be silent when I watch a film. If I'm going to, watch with anybody else, it's going to be on my second or third watch on something, because I want that story first and foremost. Whether that's a deep, thought-provoking drama or an uproarious comedy, I don't want to miss a line if somebody's crying their eyes out, making a spectacle of themselves, or laughing at something that wouldn't even warrant the laugh track being pushed on the set of The Big Bang Theory. I love when folks dress up for Barbie or dance at RRR. Yo, what Bollywood flick? You were there. You went down to Mumbai to go check that shit out, bruh. Come on. Or sit and chat for hours over a beer after seeing and read. What does that have to do with the theater, though? What people do afterwards, huh? Okay. It ends with us or screaming at the screen about how heartbreaking it feels so good in a place like this. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay, he added, referring to the end of the Nicole Kidman's beloved and viral AMC theater ads. Okay, Phillips is in the theater now with the Joker sequel, Folie. Well, that's interesting. Although it has struggled to recapture the billion-dollar success, it's earned $201 million since being released on the 4th, but that's not accurate, okay, because I got the box office receipts, and given the fact that now it's just in the drizzling shits, it's made $204 million at the box office. Wow, that is, whoo, buddy. It's kind of crazy, right? Because it's actually going to end up leaving the box office making less money than the Marvels. So, while it didn't eclipse another record of the Marvels, and they can ultimately hold over their head that, yeah, they were the second worst performing sequel to a billion-dollar franchise, the Marvels still has the distinguished honor of being the lowest drop-off in between iterations, over $900 million. Holy shit, bro. That is absolutely amazing. But yeah, it was the announcement, right? Like, after October 4th, and what was it, like the Monday or Tuesday afterwards, that, yep, we're heading to streaming. And it's like, you take a look at how everything's fallen off, and bro, it's a wrap. It is absolutely a wrap. The numbers that we have right now, at least at time of recording, it's what, fourth week? Yeah, it's first full month in the cinema, and it's already, being taken out of most theaters. It's down to 324 screens, raking in a paltry $120 per screen, being absolutely dwarfed by Venom 3 of all things. It's hilarious how bad and how universally rejected this film has been. There's a couple of brainlets that are out there defending this stuff, including what, for my money, is the most overrated person in all of video gaming. Okay, I've got some spicy takes, ones that I haven't even made public. But it's funny how, who, in my opinion, some of the most overrated hacks in all of entertainment, Hideo Kojima and Quentin Tarantino, convalesce on the same opinion when it comes to Joker Folie, that it's actually a good film, guys, and you'll eventually come around to that position. Yeah, Tarantino's opinion is a little bit more nuanced, mostly because he intrinsically hates studios, and he thought that this was some esoteric FU to everybody. But it's like, yeah, this film was also a big FU to the fans, so how do you reconcile that position? But I guess when you're just so driven against the studios, you'll just go ahead and take any perceivable W's that are out there. But Hideo Kojima, who couldn't write a coherent story if his life depended on it. Oh, but bro, Metal Gear Solid is so fantastic. Yeah, why is it only 2 of the 5 games are ever held up as classics? Like, you got the first and the third one. Everybody derides the second one. Oh, but it's the second look masterpiece, and the fourth is just a shitty long movie. And the fifth one, most people give up before they even finish. But no, he's a master. And Death Stranding, that's another thing that people will eventually look back in the next 10 to 20 years, and they'll likely change their opinion over their dog shit. But yeah, Joker Folie Doux's bad reputation will likely change over the next 10 to 20 years. Yeah, this is the same type of cope that you hear whenever there's a film that comes out and bombs. What are we, just a few years removed, right? This time in a couple of years, the 10-year anniversary of The Last Jedi will come around, and it will be that second look masterpiece that everybody said it was going to be at the time. It's not like that isn't actually aging worse as Disney continues to heap more dirt on the Star Wars coffin that has long since been lowered into the ground. No. People have a different opinion of it. As worse things come out, this will look better in comparison. What's your justification here, Koji? Death Stranding creator and video game auteur. Yeah, I guess that's one way to say somebody who's really shit, but very well publicized, you can call him an auteur, is joining the likes of Quentin Tarantino in defending Joker Folie amid the sequel's disastrous theatrical release. The movie bombed with critics and has earned just over $200 million, 204 to be precise, at the worldwide box office after 1 month in theaters. Yeah, a far cry from the billion-dollar gross from the 2019 original. Kojima wrote to his 3.9 million followers that he predicts the film's reception is likely to change over the next decade or two. Bro, stop it. There's a lot of shit films that came out in the 80s and 90s that have aged like milk, or ones that were heralded as being fantastic, that after 10 or 20 years people look back on, and it's not just because you're looking at things through a modern lens and that wouldn't fly today. They were just the pretentious shit that everybody pretended to like. Not trying to look in any one director's specific vicinity, but the name Paul, I'm sorry, I was going to mix him up with somebody else. Like, his films are just unabashed shit, but Wes Anderson, like, bro, come on. How many times can you tell the same story over and over again, but back to the same guy who does it with a different medium, so it's better that way. I watched Joker Folie the beginning of the film, in an animation sequence reminiscent of the nostalgic Looney Tunes depicted a story of Joker and Joker's shadow, yes, which is antithetical to the original film, but do continue, Mr. Auteur. In a trial that follows, the question of his multiple personalities is argued from the beginning to the end. Yeah, something that could have theoretically developed between the two films, but we were not shown that as audiences. Is the Joker Arthur? Is Joker another personality, his shadow? Who exactly is Arthur? Oh my god, whenever you work in the Jungian shadow, then you get the media literacy crowds coming in and huffing their own farts, just telling the world, oh, how smart I am because I read a philosophy textbook. Morons. This revelation eventually transforms into a meta perspective, the one where Harley Quinn's a surrogate for the audience, basically laying out how Todd Phillips' opinion is that the audience didn't care about Arthur Fleck. They only cared about the Joker, and then when he's not going to be the Joker anymore, they just leave him. Very deep. Definitely need to go several layers deep on this analysis. The previous film, Joker. Oh, was that really Joker who captivated audiences around the world, or was it Arthur? The question is constantly raised to Lee and even the people of Gotham City within the film. No, not really, because it's just, like, really badly written, but okay. We live in an age of mass production of poetic justice heroes, a battle between good and evil. Yeah, and you really like the part where, you know, they just took care of business in the shower with Arthur. You know, it was a really cool subversion. Lately, many spin-off films focus on the villains have been made. Can villains be superheroes too? No. Is this question posed? Well, it can be, just not in the way that it was portrayed here on the big screen as a DC movie's too avant-garde. Was it the Joker that audiences around the world loved? Was it Arthur? This is where the reviews have diverged. No, it's universally panned across the board. Like, it's getting, you know, mid-30s from both the critics and the audiences. They hate it. Everybody hates this crap, except for a couple of big brains out there. Over the next 10 to 20 years, this film's reputation will likely change, along with the permutation of hero movies to come. No, we're already getting out of the other side, and this is why Kojima's so fucking stupid. Fucking echo chamber living moron. There's a reason that people are skeptical but still looking forward to James Gunn's rebooted DCU, because it's supposed to kick off, at least in his words, with a very aspirational and hopeful Superman. Something that we've had to wade through with the stupid, poorly written Snyderverse, where it was just Murder Man crying about his dead mother. Why did you say that name? Where you had the morally ambiguous characters. We tried it. It failed. Nobody likes it anymore. People just want to have, the hero's journey on screen, because we've gone through all of these talentless hacks trying to do a subversive take on archetypal stories, and them all falling on their face. But no, here you have Captain Convolution coming out and saying, well, actually, it'd be really cool if it was even more subversive than that. Fucking dork. Yeah, go out and tell your Death Stranding film for A24 and make $6,800. I'm sure Jeff Keighley will be there on night 1, night 2, and night 3. He might actually be able to catch a glimpse of the film on the third time out when he's done sucking you off in the theaters. But yeah, this is the same asshole who has the take that Dune Part 2 is going to be, it's such a sequel of such a monumental piece of cinema that it acts as a resistance to streaming platforms. Who's still talking about Dune Part 2? There's a Dune series that's out right now, or at least it's about to be released, and who the fuck cares about that shit? Yeah, exactly. This is just another wannabe, and in his case, it's a wannabe Hollywood suck-off trying to ingratiate himself and show just how smart he is, but in reality, he's as fucking dumb as the games that he writes. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.